Hello there. Hope you are doing well. So here we have one of the text or the passage which point out about some questions pertain to this particular text. So let's see that what this text is pointing here. On the basis of this particular text, there is a direction for question. So what does the direction point out here? The directions for questions is what? There is a passage below which is accompanied by a set of questions. We need to choose the best answer to each question. What I assume that you must have gone through the text um, and you must have understood some of the ideas. Yet I would like to have a kind of a discussion on this particular text. So, what does this text point out? The text begins with West is precisely what dissolves the distinction between nature and culture. Right. Today, when the very weather is warped by the climate crisis and plankton uh, thousands of meters deep have intestinal tracts full of microplastic, the idea of a nature that is pristine or untouched is delusional. Nature and West have fused at both planetary and microbiological scales. Similarly, West is not merely a byproduct of culture, it is culture. We have produced a culture of West. To focus our gaze on West is not an act of morbid negativity, it is an act of cultural realism. If West is the mess that entangles nature and culture, it is necessarily the defining material of our time. We live in the West Age. Now, at the same time, it is also given about at the end of the passage that is this an ungenerous and pessimistic take on human activity in 21st century. On the contrary, invoking the West Age offers the opportunity for a radical shift in late capitalist civilization. So, and then after it is stated it has always been an externality and unavoidable byproduct of necessary industrialization, but it is now an internality, internal to every ecosystem and every digestive system, from marine microorganisms to human. It was to truly were to be a central issue brought into the heart of every conversation about how things are extracted, designed, and disposed of. It would change society, being recognition. To invoke the Vestige is to usher in the hope of a clear future. Now, if you look into this four paragraph based passage, where the text argues that what West is a critical factor. West is a critical factor. And it is also stated that the critical factor blurring the distinction between nature and culture. In the current era, if you observe, the text also point out characterized by the climate crisis, right? Climate crisis, uh, and uh, you can say that climate crisis and pervasive pollution, pervasive pollution. The idea of untouched nature is considered delusional. The author contends that West is not merely a byproduct of culture, but is ingrained in it, representing the defining material of the contemporary age. The West Age, examining historical material ages, the author also notes that despite the illusion of, uh, you can say that dematerialization, dematerialization, material consumption has exponentially increased. The text also introduces terms such as the anthro, anthropocene, anthropocene, um, and the capitalocene, right? Capitalocene, isn't it? Uh, to emphasize the geological and economic dimension of the West issue. Contrary to negativity or belief in negativity, the author sees the recognition of the West Age, you can say that as an opportunity um, for a radical shift in led capitalist civilization towards more sustainable practices, isn't it? That's what you would find out in this whole text. Now, if I talk about the main idea of the text, right, the main idea could be referred as a West dissolves the distinction between nature and culture. Nature and culture. And with the climate crisis and widespread pollution challenging the idea of pristine nature. So it is also stated West is not just a byproduct, but integral to culture. Integral to culture. Right, forming the defining material to the contemporary era, the West Age, historical material ages from the Stone Age of the Information Age, whichever I told you. Now, if I look into the tone of the text, so the tone is indicating as analytical, and urging a reevaluation of a societal perspective on West. The author combines a critical assessment of the current state of West with a hopeful outlook. Hopeful outlook. So in that case, you can say somehow neutral in neutral in tone. So, or you can also say that positive because the author looking at the current scenario, hopeful for outlook, suggesting that acknowledging the West Age can lead to positive change. Isn't it? Positive change. So if you observe that the style of the passage, so the style of the passage is persuasive, um, employing rhetorical questions and contrasting historical methodologies to emphasize the gravity of the West issue. So the author uses clear examples and statistics to illustrate the overwhelming scale of contemporary West problems. Right. So these are the things. And if I talk about the author's argument in this, or the central argument is that what you could say, mm, West is a fundamental aspect. West is a fundamental aspect. Fundamental aspect. Fundamental aspect of the current era. Of the current era, isn't it? Current era. So that is what you would find out, blurring the lines between nature and culture. The author advocates for recognizing the West as an opportunity for a profound shift towards sustainable practices and a cleaner future. The text challenges the, you can say that, marginalization uh, of West as an externality, right? And calls for it to be brought into the center of societal conversation about extraction, design, and approval. So these are the, you can say that, the summary of the text and main idea, tone, style. These are the main issues or main parts of the text that we draw. Now let's move for the, what we can say that, the question. Okay. Yeah. So what does the question point out here? The question states that in the passage, what role does the term West Age play? What role does the term West Age play? Look at the options which are given here. The first option say it denotes a shift towards sustainability. Second, it criticizes modern society. Third, it describes a historical time period. And fourth, it presents a new geological uh, era. Right. Now, the question said in the passage, what role does the term Western play? Now, if I talk about the option one, which is absolutely correct because it says it denotes a shift towards sustainability. So while the term Westage does imply a need for change, it's not specifically uh, uh, what do we talk about that? About a shift towards sustainability. So hence you could consider option one could be correct, but in that case it doesn't indicating that what about a shift towards sustainability. So it needs what? A need for change. It's not specifically about a shift towards sustainability, right? So therefore, we consider that this option would be wrong, right? Look at the option two, which is stated, it criticizes modern society. Well, you could see that on the basis of the passage, what do we find out from the very idea of from the beginning of the text? We draw lots of information, lots of rhetorical questions, so which are clearly highlighting that the West Age, the term itself, West Age, the term itself is not nothing but a mockery, right? Mockery, mockery to its people, or its the generation, the modern society, mockery to the modern society. So that's what you can say, that uh, truly it were be a central issue, right? So, and it brought into the heart of every conversation about how things are extracted, designed, and disposed of. So in that case, you would find out the first one is indicating, denotes a shift towards sustainability. The word sustainability itself is creating error to it. But if you look into the option two, which is nothing but a mockery of the title itself, right? So hence you consider option two would be the most appropriate of means you can say that all the options, but look at the other options also, because I find out that the option two is the better one. So option three said it describes a historical time period. Now, if I look into the option three, it is closer to the intended role of the term vestige, because it is stated historical time period in modern society characterized by the integration of West into various aspects of culture and the environment. However, it is not just a historical description, it is more about the, you can say that, current state, current state, current state of society, state of society. So hence the option creates a kind of a disruption to it. So option three and option four, both are incorrect. Now look into the option four, it presents a neo-geological era. So if I look into the option four, it is not entirely correct actually, right? So why? Now, because while the term vestige is discussed in the passage, it does not define a new geological era like the, you can say that Anthropocene, Anthropocene. Hence, the correct answer is option two. Okay.